Welcome to a new episode of Subcast. Today we're putting on our marketing hats and doing a deep dive into something we think is hugely powerful, but honestly often kind of overlooked.
Yeah, what's that?
The impact of sound in building brands.
Sonic branding, right?
Exactly. Or audio branding, sound marketing, even, what has Philip Kotler called it? Audio consumer persuasion.
Yeah, atmospherics is a marketing tool.
Yeah.
It's all about how sound influences us, the consumers.
Totally. It's recognizing that the sounds linked to your brand, they shape feelings, they shape memories, just as much as, say, your logo or your color palette does.
Absolutely. You know, we see so many businesses laser focused on the visuals, and look, visuals are crucial, no doubt.
Of course.
But that auditory experience, it's just as vital if you want a truly holistic brand. Think about it just from a human angle.
Okay.
Our brains are just wired to connect things, and sound is like this amazing shortcut straight to our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that sudden need for a soda just from hearing that pop, tear, and hiss?
Oh, definitely. You hear it across the room and suddenly you're thirsty.
Exactly. That's not an accident. That's sonic branding doing its job, tapping right into those learned associations we have.
It's so true. And, to really hammer this home, try this little thought experiment. Picture a certain big streaming service logo.
Okay, that one.
Now, almost without thinking, you probably hear that little two-dumb sound in your head, right?
Yep, instantly. Clear as day.
It's incredible how that simple two-note thing is just so recognizable, so strongly tied to that specific brand. So let's unpack this a bit. From a marketing viewpoint, why is sound so good at forging these connections?
Well, it really boils down to how our brains process information. Fundamentally, humans are, highly trainable beings. Our brains are pattern-matching machines, constantly seeking associations.
Like Pavlov's dog.
Precisely like Pavlov's dog. The bell, totally meaningless at first, gets linked to food. Eventually, just the sound of the bell makes the dog salivate. In the same way, if a sound is consistently paired with a positive brand experience, could be a product, a service, whatever, our brains forge a really strong link.
So the sound becomes a trigger.
A powerful trigger, yeah. It can evoke feelings, memories, maybe even desires associated with that brand.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating is that sound can actually access the limbic system.
The emotional center of the brain.
Exactly. It gets there sometimes more directly than visual cues, which can mean faster and often stronger emotional connections are made.
Okay, so it's about building these mental shortcuts for consumers. That makes perfect sense for, products you buy. But the sources we looked into also talked about sound shaping our perception of physical spaces.
Oh, definitely.
That feels like it goes beyond just, having a catchy jingle or a sound logo.
It absolutely does. If you think about the bigger picture, creating that whole brand experience,
Right.
think about a local coffee shop you really like.
Okay.
It's not just the smell of the coffee or the comfy chairs, right? It's the whole sensory mix. The background music they play, the low murmur of conversation, the whirring and hissing of the espresso machine, all of that contributes to the feel of the place. Your experience there.
Yeah, the vibe.
That whole auditory landscape becomes part of their brand identity, and that's true whether they've consciously designed it or if it's just happened organically.
It's like an unintentional soundscape sometimes. But then the absence of sound can be just as strategic. We saw that example of, say, a therapist's office.
Right.
Why the deliberate quiet there? What's the thinking?
Well, that touches on intentionality, which is key. In a setting like a therapist's office, the quiet isn't accidental. It's designed very specifically to minimize distractions.
Okay.
It creates an atmosphere that helps with focus, with open communication. The lack of background noise becomes a crucial part of shaping that environment and supporting the whole purpose of the interaction.
So it's a deliberate sonic choice reinforcing the purpose.
Exactly. A very deliberate choice.
It's interesting how much thought can go into these sound environments, especially when you look at industries like, say, food and beverage.
Oh, massively.
The research highlighted just how much they invest in understanding sensory cues, including sound, to tap into what some call our System 1 brain capabilities.
Yeah. The fast, intuitive thinking.
As marketers, we know this is super important. Can you elaborate on that a bit? What does that mean in practice?
Sure. So System 1 thinking, it's our fast, intuitive, often unconscious processing. It relies on impulses, familiarity, routines,
Right.
gut feelings, basically.
Right. The non-analytical side.
Exactly. And the food industry is incredibly savvy at using sound to sort of bypass our more logical, analytical System 2 brain. Think about the satisfying crunch of a chip or a cracker. or the sizzle of bacon in a pan, those sounds aren't just incidental. They're often carefully engineered, or at least highlighted in marketing, to trigger immediate desires, cravings, often before we even consciously register it.
It's like creating that almost Pavlovian response again, but linked directly to wanting the food.
Precisely. It's very effective.
So, okay, let's say businesses listening are thinking, right, this sound stuff is important. How do we actually use it? Where does a brand even start with sonic branding? It could feel a bit overwhelming.
It definitely can seem that way. But, we usually advise clients to start with the fundamentals they already know. For brands that have a pretty good handle on their core identity, their target audience, maybe they've got a solid brand book.
Okay, the groundwork is there.
Yeah. Then the process can be a bit more straightforward. The key is to start asking some really specific targeted questions.
Like what?
Okay, first, who exactly is the target audience for this sound? Not just the brand overall, but for this specific auditory element. What are their preferences? Their expectations sound-wise?
Makes sense.
Second, what kind of feeling or what experience are they actually seeking when they interact with your brand? Are they after excitement, comfort, efficiency, speed?
Right. What's the desired emotional state?
Exactly. Then, the really crucial one. How can audio specifically enhance or maybe reinforce those existing beliefs and the reactions you want from your buyers?
Okay.
And finally, you have to think about outcomes. What are the potential results, positive and negative, of introducing a particular sound? And, importantly, what's your plan for each scenario? Like, if testing shows a sound is actually irritating people, what's your backup? What do you do then?
Those are really practical, important questions for any brand to wrestle with. That coffee shop example we touched on earlier, it really brings this down to earth, doesn't it? It's clearly not just about the background music playlist they play.
Not at all.
Yeah.
What's really fascinating from a branding perspective is that the entire auditory atmosphere in that coffee shop adds up to its brand.
The whole soundscape.
The whole thing. The background buzz of people talking, the rhythmic grind of the coffee beans, the whoosh and steam of the milk frother. These sounds create this unique soundscape that customers, probably unconsciously, associate with that specific place. And it even extends to human sounds. The tone of voice the baristas use, the specific phrases they repeat. Next, have a great day.
Yeah.
Any sound that gets constantly repeated becomes part of that shop's audio identity. It all shapes the customer experience.
It's almost like every single sound in that environment is broadcasting something about the brand, whether they mean it to or not.
Pretty much, yeah.
And, well, that leads straight into a challenge businesses must face, right? How do managers, how do entrepreneurs even begin to identify all these little sonic elements that are contributing to their brand identity across the whole customer journey? It seems hard to get a handle on everything.
It is tough, exactly.
Yeah.
It demands a really holistic view, doesn't it? A detail-oriented approach to the entire customer experience, really paying attention to sonic cues that often just fly under the radar.
Yeah.
But the opportunity here is huge. A really well-crafted sonic brand, something unique and fitting, can be such a powerful and memorable differentiator in the market.
But there's a flip side.
There is. The flip side, as we've definitely seen, is that negative sound associations, they can be incredibly difficult to shake off once they take root. Think about, a persistent, annoying humming noise in a retail store, or maybe really jarring hold music.
Ugh, bad hold music.
Right. That stuff can quickly erode customer satisfaction and just poison the whole experience.
That's a really crucial point.
Right.
Get it wrong, and it's hard to fix. So we've talked about these broader soundscapes, but we also saw that great example of a really distinct, iconic sonic logo. The HBO sound.
The static and the choir chord.
Yeah. That feels like such a powerful, focused piece of audio branding.
What makes that HBO sound so incredibly effective is its instant recognizability, for one, but also these super strong brand associations built up over decades. Like the source material pointed out, for loads of people, hearing that short little audio cue instantly brings to mind, say, the Sex and the City theme song, even if they're about to watch something completely different.
Yeah, that association is immediate.
That's the magic, isn't it? The power of a really well-executed sonic logo. It creates this instant, almost indelible link straight back to the brand in your mind.
It really just underscores how vital it is, doesn't it, for businesses today to seriously consider the auditory side of their branding strategy. It's just not enough to focus only on how your brand looks. How it
Yeah.
sounds to your customers is just as important.
Absolutely. Ignoring the sonic dimension, it's basically leaving a massive opportunity on the table, an opportunity to connect with your audience on a much deeper, more emotional, and ultimately more memorable level.
Well said. So, if you're listening and thinking about how sound could strengthen your brand, or perhaps you want to refine your existing strategy, well, that's something we can help with.
Definitely.
Feel free to get in touch with us here at Subsign. We're always happy to chat about all things marketing and branding.